Maggie Cimaroli's back, nutrition educator, St. Louis Dairy Council. Rebirth, renewal, get yourself back in the spring kind of life. Good morning, Maggie.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. My grandson didn't make my coffee this morning, so it doesn't just taste like creamer. So I'm good. Yeah, he tends to overdo it, but it is dairy, so he's helping. All right. So what do we do to start over? How do we? I mean, I don't do New Year's resolutions, but I'd be down with maybe changing up my diet for a new year.
Yeah, so the spring is, again, kind of those, like you said, kind of those starting over points. Usually you do kind of like a spring cleaning just, the weather's getting warmer, the sun is out more. So just kind of like you just feel better, and that's kind of a perfect time to maybe start either starting or continuing some of those maybe healthy eating habits you've been trying to get going. Or even you can think of it as kind of like a spring clean out, maybe getting rid of some of those not as nutrient-dense foods and then replacing those with some dairy foods, some fruits, some vegetables, kind of some of those other things that are really going to help your body just feel great.
All right. And, I think everybody talks about that swimsuit body. But it's like, it's impossible to do that when you're stuck in the house and it's so cold you can't even go outside and your grass is dead. And I mean, the only time you go out is to maybe walk your dog or clean up its poop. I mean, that's the only time you go out other than work.
Right. Well, and so that's kind of, again, like you said, kind of the perfect time then. I mean, now it's starting to get warmer, so you can be outside more. You can do a little bit more physical activity. And it just, in my opinion, it just makes you feel better.
Yeah.
Just with the sun being out, with it being warmer. I mean, even this morning I got up and I was like, it's so cold. I just didn't want to get up.
Yep.
I mean, so just, that warmer weather just really kind of puts your mindset into a better place. And then when your mindset's in that great place, then usually you make kind of some more mindful decisions. So, you're adding that extra dairy to your plate, or, having a glass of milk in the morning. You're maybe having some of those extra fruits and vegetables. Some of those things are going to start coming into season too. So, farmers markets and things like that, you'll be able to kind of get some fresh fruits and some fresh vegetables and, kind of, again, just kind of starting over with some of those healthy foods that sometimes you might kind of avoid in the wintertime. I mean, I'm very much in the winter, I like kind of warm, comfy, like those,
Soups.
Really homemade meals.
Yeah.
And those are still good, and they still have a lot of nutrients in it, but now it's kind of a time to switch up your plate, maybe try some different things.
Yeah, and you know what? We put cheese in everything. I don't care what it is. Any kind of sandwich, any kind of eggs, any kind of anything, I've got cheese on it.
Yeah, which is great because it's nutrient dense. We always talk about how, you want to have 3 servings of dairy every single day. So even something simple like that. Maybe you don't like drinking a glass of milk, or maybe you don't like, doing some of those other, having yogurt or yogurt parfait. But adding cheese, if you like cheese, then you can add it to, whatever you want. Add it to your eggs in the morning. Put it on a sandwich or a salad. Add it into those dinners, either those sauces you can make. You can add cheese. You can add it onto vegetables. That's another great way to get a serving of veggies in if you're somebody who doesn't like veggies. Cheese adds a lot of flavor, has that calcium, which is going to keep your bones strong. It also has protein in it, which is going to kind of give you energy and keep you full for longer. So has a lot of great things. So I am cheese is my favorite, so definitely add the cheese.
Well, and it's avocado season really too, so cheese and avocado mixed together is fantastic. Not going to lie.
Yes, I would agree with that as well. I just got some avocados actually, and same thing. Put them in everything, and that's another thing too. And I'm going to mention, smoothies, for example. So take avocados. Maybe you don't like avocados, or you don't like the texture of avocados. You can add it into a smoothie, and then you get the flavors of the yogurt, the milk, the fruit, kind of whatever you're adding in there, but you get the health benefits of the avocado. So, smoothies are kind of a great way to maybe hide some of those extra foods that you're not really a fan of, but you should be eating more of. So, add some spinach in there, add some extra fruits in there. If maybe you don't like having a lot of fruit, that's a great place to kind of get some of those extra foods in.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll eat all your avocados. Bring them over. I'll eat them like an apple. I will peel the skin off with my thumb, and I'll eat it like an apple down to the core. Did you have your last name change?
You know what? I have changed my name, yes.
I didn't know this.
No, that's okay. I've been using, so I got married, about 10 months ago now, and I've been using my Cimaroli, my maiden name. That's kind of what I use for work. But then I think it's been about a month now. I decided to go ahead and change my name. So
I'm sure your husband's happy you're finally proud of him.
I know. It's, and with work and with, life gets busy. And, so I have officially changed my name. I am now Nosik. But yeah, so I use my Cimaroli with work still sometimes, and it'll be a process, kind of changing all of the things. But
yeah, I'm gonna change mine back to my maiden name. Gross. I hate having to wear the name of the guy who ruined my life. All right, so you do have these wonderful recipes at your website. We have a minute left. What are you featuring this time?
Yes, so our recipe this month is a strawberry brie grilled cheese. And it sounds a little interesting, but if you like grilled cheese or if you like brie, this is definitely something to try. So usually when I have brie, I add a little bit of if you heat it up, it makes it really warm and gooey. You can add kind of like some jam on top, or you can add cranberries on top. It just gives it a lot of, you get that sweet and salty kind of just really good flavors. And so this is the same idea, just in a grilled cheese sandwich. So it's just kind of a different twist on a grilled cheese. Gets you a serving of dairy in there. You get some extra fruit in there. And it's really something great. Strawberries, like I said, are going to start coming into season, moving a little bit towards that more warmer weather. So just another great way to get some really yummy foods in. You
know what's always in season? Bacon and butter. Put some of that in there, too. You got to eat some meat. I've got an entire pound of bacon in my fridge waiting for me to get home. It's already cooked. All right. So if they want to get this recipe, where do they go? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're okay. I was just going to say, yes, add those extra things that you like. It makes a great sandwich.
Yeah, I'm leaving the strawberries out. So.
So our website is stldairycouncil.org. This recipe is on there, and kind of what we talked about today is on there as well. Or you can go to our Facebook or our Instagram, which is at STL Dairy Council. And again, kind of everything we talked about, we put some different recipes up there, usually once every other week. So if you really like recipes, you'll find some really great recipes on our Instagram account.
Yeah, and I try a lot of the recipes from their websites, and they're really, really good. I love strawberries. I just can't eat them due to a disease. So, some of us are restricted not because we don't like things, but because we just can't have them. Bacon, I can still have, so I'm doing it. All right. Maggie Nosik, nutrition educator at St. Louis Dairy Council. Thanks for coming on again, Maggie. Appreciate you.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, bye-bye.